So, is Africa rising? Yes? No? This is somewhere in Africa. In particular, this is downtown Luanda, the capital of Angola. But guess what? This is also Luanda. In fact, it's less than 5 kilometers from downtown. Yes, you can find similar disparities in many other parts of the world. But regardless of the location and topic, we owe it to ourselves to have a balanced view and narrative. The African continent is complex, and that's an understatement. So it is impossible and quite frankly dangerous and even irresponsible to try to reduce the continent's story into a single story. Yes, in some ways, the continent is rising, and as a proud African who wishes all the best for the continent, that is music to my ears. But in many other ways, the continent is not rising, and we must also recognize those not-so-flattering parts of the continent. That is only how we will progress. As an education channel, I think it's our obligation to have a balanced view, a nuanced approach when it comes to talking about the African continent. For instance, aggregate economic growth has been higher across the continent, but for one, it has been superficial at best because the drivers of growth, for the most part, have unfortunately been commodities as opposed to investment in human and physical capital. Two, higher population growth has eroded parts of the economic expansion. So in the end, average income has grown at a slower pace. Furthermore, although the poverty rate has declined, the number of people living in extreme poverty has risen because the pace of population growth was faster than the rate of decline in the poverty rate. So now, although a smaller share of the population is in poverty, because the population is larger, there are far more people living in poverty. For illustration, think about a large share of a grape and a smaller share of a watermelon. Access to education has broadly improved, but close to 100 million children remain out of school. This figure represents 40% of the total number of children out of school worldwide. Plus, schools are overcrowded and the quality of the education those in school have access to is pretty abysmal. Despite the economic progress, corruption and bad governance remain entrenched at the highest levels of government, with public coffers being constantly looted for personal gains and lucrative contracts being awarded to cronies, leaving the population with little to no adequate public services. The state of the continent is impossible to capture in a single story. Frankly, it would be irresponsible and dangerous to even try to do so. The root causes of the lag in economic development can be traced all the way back to centuries of slavery and colonialism, which destroyed the fabric of African society by dismantling traditional structures of government, eroding community trust, and looting its precious resources, both in terms of people and natural resources. We will discuss this in a separate video. But all that being said, to move forward, we must learn about these and how they continue to affect us today and how we can undo their effects. Then we need to take action. That's the only way we will move forward. We are not presenting the so-called negative sides of the African continent to bash, but with the intention to sow the seeds of service in the African youth. For our generation, on which the future of the continent depends, we must be familiar with the good and the bad of the continent. With that being said, if you are looking for an educational channel to learn about the African continent based on facts and a balanced view, welcome to Africa Unchained. This is a new channel dedicated to educating the African youth, the future leaders of the continent. A channel designed to inspire and motivate the generation dubbed the Cheetah Generation by Ghanaian economist George Ayite. A channel whose overall and long-term objective is to sow the seeds of an African renaissance. Like, share, and subscribe to join the revolution.